Hello guys, so today I'm going to be starting some seeds inside because we've got like another couple of weeks before like we're safe from any frost. So, oh my god, I just took him off the chain because he's been naughty, so now he's like, I'm free! So he's just like, he's been running. Anyways, so the things that I'm going to be starting inside, so when I do my seeds, actually this year's the first year that I'm implementing this because I'm doing such a big garden. I'm going to be doing my seeds in different, what's the word I'm looking for, phases. Basically this week I'm planting some, and then next week I'll plant the same seeds but a week later, and so on. That way when they are ready for harvest, I don't have this abundance of everything ready at the same time. Like I can, you know, do 1 week's worth of that harvest, and then the next week I can do the other stuff, because when it comes to like canning and stuff, it's like a lengthy process, so I don't want to get overwhelmed all at once and then have stuff wasted like previous years. Like I said, this is my 3rd year doing it. So I get the gist of everything, but I'm like, as you go on, you get wiser when you plant stuff and you learn different things, different techniques. Oh my god, he's going psycho. So anyway, so that's what I'm doing. And I bought about, so how I plant my seeds, right, is I have little white styrofoam cups. Now, I think those work the best because white and black colors attract the heat, so you put them in your windowsill and the soil gets warm and they get sunlight and it helps them germinate and grow, yada, yada, yada. I think those are the best, plus they're small and they're not as bulky as the big red solo cups. So that's what I'm using, and I'm going to try to fill every single window I have, which we have 6 windows. I've got about 80 styrofoam cups. What I'm going to do is I'm going to plant 2 seeds per cup. And I've been having really successful years with doing the cups. Now, I used to germinate them with like a plastic baggie and some tissue paper, and you'd put the seed on there and you'd put some water in the baggie, and then the seeds would soak and then they would start to germinate. And then I would take the lengthy process of picking those seeds out and putting them in the dirt, and then sometimes they wouldn't live. So I just learned it's just much easier just to put them in the dirt, spray them every day, keep the soil moist, and they'll grow. I've learned that the tough way. Come here, Thor! Come here, Thor! Oh! Oh, God. Now I'm muddy. He's nothing but mud. Luckily, we've got the hose up at the house. Every time before I let these dogs in, like, they get sprayed down, their feet at least. This morning, they had like a full like shower because they were covered in mud. So he's just having a heck of a time, and he's gonna learn that when he's up to like 180 pounds, he ain't gonna be running like that. Anyway, so before I started to put my seeds in cups, I kind of just wanted to get like a general idea. I've got mud everywhere. A general idea of like how much I need to plant, which basically this year, like, I'm full-blown planting like every seed I have just about. Now I might be getting carried away, but we plan on really canning stuff. Plus we have neighbors that we plan on, you know, sharing stuff with. So I've got all of this clear up here, clear over here, to plant whatever I want. And actually we will probably, these bushes over here, we call them butterfly bushes because they attract the monarch, I cannot talk, the monarch butterflies very well. Like, these suckers are huge and they love those little bushes. So anyways, we'll probably be knocking some of those down and some trees. I've got pumpkins. I'm having me a pumpkin patch. I got watermelons. I'm having watermelons because us hillbillies love watermelon, okay? And my daughter just even said today that this summer she has it all planned out. She's going to be laying in the pool that I'm going to make, and she's going to eat watermelon, and that's going to keep her cool all summer. And Paul's like, okay. Our rows are going to be vertical, like up, going towards the house, because the water, when it rains, it runs down. That way it doesn't wash any of my plants out. And I am doing a vertical garden, so I'm growing everything up. Now this, it keeps, you know, you can grow more in one space. It kind of helps with the weeds. It helps with not losing, you know, vegetables to laying on the ground and rotting, or the bugs getting to them, and they just grow better vertically than they do like on the ground, you know. makes sense. So that's what I'm trying this year, and with that we will be, if I don't fall, it's super muddy. So like all these little trees, we're gonna be cutting down little stuff to use as our post for our vertical garden. For one, this is money efficient. These are free. All we have to do is the labor, you know, cut them down. And the only thing we'll have to buy is some fencing. Now, I think I want to go with fencing over doing like string, just for the simple fact of the string might wear down, things might chew on the string, and I think like even chicken wire will work. That way stuff can really vine up there and like bond to that fencing so it stays up. So that's my plan. And we've got another 3 weeks before anything can go in the ground, because in Oklahoma where I'm at, the frost deadline is like April 1st. So after April 1st we can start planting stuff in the ground. There he goes. They've been cooped up for like the past 4 days because it's done nothing but rain. So he's out here burning off all his energy. Okay, so basically these are like all the seeds I'm starting inside. I don't know how many yet, but so I've got probably half in my bag that I don't need to start inside. So like your cucumbers, your pumpkins, your squash, like I don't start this stuff inside unless you want like an early crop, because that stuff takes off so easy. Like within 2 days you've got sprouts from like the cucumber. So the more delicate stuff, such as like tomato plants, like I like to start. So I've got 2 kinds of tomatoes. I didn't get crazy this year. I usually do a couple different kinds, like cherry tomatoes, yellow tomatoes, your beefsteak. This year I got Roma. I really like those. I bought some from the store. I've been buying some up until the past couple weeks. I don't know, they're just nice for like tacos and stuff. They're just little. So I'm gonna do some of those. I was doing a German strawberry tomato. It's like this beefy pink sweet tomato. It's not as acidic, it's more sweet, so it's really good for like sandwiches. But I didn't do that this year, and I think I have some seeds of those in my camper. I have to look for. I might do some. So I'm going to show you guys how I do my seeds. So I have about 2 packs of these foam cups. They're just like an 8.5 ounce foam cup. You can get them smaller if you want, and probably if you wanted to go smaller you could, but I think these are like a good size, because that way you can moisten the soil and it won't dry up so fast. Now I do spray these every day, especially when the seed is germinating. The seed has to continue to be moist in order to sprout. So I fill it to the top, my little foam cup, and then I'm gonna write what I have on it. One year somehow I got zucchini mixed up with yellow summer squash, and I was sure that I had like a boatload of like zucchini, right? I was super excited because I wanted to do zucchini relish. Turns out your girl done planted like 8 things of summer squash, and let's just say I don't do that anymore because I'm burnt out on yellow squash. That's like all we had all summer was just a ton of yellow squash, and then it was a ton that got wasted because I just was over it. So anyways, going to write out on my cup with my handy dandy Sharpie what I have, and I'm gonna do, this one's just gonna say tomato, and then on my other one I'll put aroma tomato, just so there's no confusion. Did I spell tomato right? I did. Tomato, okay. And I'm also gonna put the date that I did these on. That way, sorry, I'm really bad at multitasking while I'm writing. I don't need to put 20. Anyways, so I like to put the date on there just so, like when I said I'm doing these in phases, so like I'm going to plant these this week, and then the next week I'm going to plant the same thing, but they're going to be in a rotation. That way I don't have everything like ready to pick at once. So I got my cup, and it's already filled with my dirt. Now you could buy potting soil if you live somewhere where you don't have good soil you can just dig up. Now I have an abundance of dirt, if y'all didn't know. Like, I live in the middle of the woods, and even better, like our dirt is composted because of all the leaves that have fallen and, like, you know, decomposed. So I've got some really good soil. I just went outside and I dug up and I put it in a bucket. So that's what I'm using, and it's already wet because I did this when it was pouring down rain. So I won't spray these today because, like I said, this is pretty moist already. So I have my cup with my tomato and my date. I don't know why I put in a slash. I'm gonna get to my tomato seed. Now, when I do this, I like to put 2 in the cup. Even when I, like, outside, if I plant stuff in the ground, my dad always taught me to do 2, because if one doesn't make it, you know, then you've already got the other seed. You don't have to go back through and replant. And so you just go back through and, you know, thin it out, pull the extra one. That's it. That's not... These suckers were almost $3, and this is not even a lot of... Okay, so let me show you what I got. So we made a big mistake. I mean, I guess it wasn't a mistake. It was what we knew was around. We got our seeds from the Tractor Supply, and all their seed packs were like $2 and up. Like, they were kind of like a expensive seed. Like, I was just going to buy my stuff on Amazon, but Amazon shut down their shipping. Like, you cannot order stuff on Amazon. They are not shipping stuff out right now. So for $3, that's all I got. Like, I'm gonna have to go buy more tomato seeds, because that's not like what I planned on planting. Like, I plan on planting like way more than this. So I will be buying more tomato seeds. Anyways, so let me place these in here and I'll just show you. Hopefully you guys can see this. Okay, hang on. Let me put these back in here. So, okay, you can see I have my 2 seeds. I have 1 and I have 2. You want to do them a little bit apart, because when they do germinate, most likely they both will. They're going to start rooting, and if you're too close, they're going to root together, and then if you try to tear those bad boys apart, you will kill them. So you want to leave a little space. And then we're going to get some dirt. We're going to get our hands dirty. And I'm just going to put a little, I'm just going to smash it down, like kind of like a blanket, right? Typically my soil would be dry right now, but like I said, I got this while it was raining, because it's been raining for like the past 3 or so days. So I would typically use dry soil and just dig a little hole and then just cover it up, but that's not the case today. And you want to make it thin. You don't want to make it too deep, because then the sunlight won't get to them and they won't grow right. So okay, so I've got them covered, and I may just miss this just slightly, just so, because it's already wet, but I want the seed to get wet right away. But anyways, if we're going off of dry dirt, you would, you know, dig your little hole, and I would spray some water, put my seed in, cover it, spray some more water, put it in my windowsill, and then every day, I think I did it twice a day. I sprayed these morning and night, because they do, in the window, it does dry up really fast. You want to keep your seeds moist for them to sprout. So, and then after it sprouts, I just mist it once a day, one good mist once a day, up until I plant them, and then it's just as needed. If you're in a really dry place and you have a hose, you know, I would do it in the evening every day until it rains, or like right before it rains. You just gotta like play it out. Like, if it's super dry and they're like wilting, then of course they need water, but if not, they're okay. I mean, they're pretty hardy. I mean, it's a plant, right? Okay, so cup 1 is done. And a tip from the wise: do not over saturate water your cups, because you'll have water sitting in the bottom of your cup, or even in the middle if it's that full, and you will cause your plants to get root rot, and they will not grow and they will die. So just like, I have a spray bottle. This is like your best friend. Just use a spray bottle. Like, it works the best. You put it on the mist setting, and you mist it until the top of the soil is pretty damp, because we did not dig this down very far. So just moisten the top of the soil really good, and that's it. Do it twice a day until they sprout, and then do it once a day, just really good. Don't hold your cup over under the sink and like completely soak it. Don't do that. And if you're worried, you can always drill a couple or poke some holes in the bottom for it to drain out if you're worried you're going to overwater it, but just don't overwater it. This is probably one of my favorite things to do, is to plant the seeds and then, well, any seed really, but like in my house in the cups, because then you can watch them grow. I don't know, I just like that. I think it's relaxing to garden. And you can talk to your plants and they don't talk back and judge you like children and husbands do. So I just like it. Okay, so these are probably my favorite thing to do is the herbs. So the last time I did herbs was when we lived in Tennessee, and they all turned out really good until I went to plant them outside, and then I don't know what happened. The only thing that made it was my basil, but it did really good and it grew really big, and I ended up drying a lot of basil out, and I swear I had some in a little container, but I think we left that with my father-in-law. We gave him this like spice rack, and I think it was in there. But anyways, so I got those, and they're super easy to grow, and you can grow them inside year-round if you want to. See, mine were in the house in these cups, and then I put them in the terracotta clay pots, and they looked super cute. And I even wrote like what it was on there. It looked really cute. So you can do these, and then, you know, for as far as like saving your seeds, which I did with my basil, like I said, I don't know where those seeds are. You just pick a dedicated plant that you're going to let go to seed. You're not going to pick it, do anything with it. You're just going to let it go and seed. So like the sweet basil is what I had in Tennessee, and when these go to seed, they start to get these flowers on them, and when they're ready to pick the seeds, the flowers, they'll bloom, and then they'll completely dry up, and you'll have these little pods, and in there will be like these little black seeds. Like if you've ever done morning glories, like they look like a morning glory seed, but they're a little bit smaller. So it's super easy. I've got basil and chives, cilantro, dill, oregano, you know, like all your basic stuff here, thyme and rosemary and parsley. And the super easy thing, right, if you're worried about like, oh, well, I don't know how to like, you know, harvest those, well, trust me, I'm going to make a video on it. But also, so like my basil, we do have a dehydrator, but the easiest method that I found, and it worked perfect, was I took a big clipping of my basil and I tied it up and I hung it in my kitchen. Not only did it smell good, but it dried really fast, and once it was all dried up, I just took my knife to it and I just like chopped it up like really finely, and I put it in one of my little containers, and that was that. And it's even better when it's fresh. Like you use the fresh stuff like when you're cooking, like it's just good. That's why I like having these around, and everybody uses them anyways. So we're gonna do some of these today. Okay, so like usually the herb seeds are like ridiculously small, so we're not going to put too much thought into this. We're just going to, literally what you could do is you could just take the pinch and you could just sprinkle it in and just kind of pat it down and spray it and let it go, or you could place them like individually. I'm going to attempt to kind of place them around, just because like I said, when they start to root and you start ripping like them apart, you're gonna like put them into shock and they're not gonna live. So I'm going to, and then I can kind of tell like, hey, like where they're growing. I don't know, I'll do a couple cups, I'll do them a different way, and we'll kind of see like which way grows the best. We'll do that. We'll make it like a science experiment. We all like those, don't we? Okay, put those in there. Now I'm just going to spray. And they'll kind of, like when I spray them, like they'll get covered with some dirt, so they'll grow. They'll be okay. Okay, so that is done. Basil. Okay, so I've got literally got one window full of my herbs. And then we come over here. And I've got like my celery and cauliflower, broccoli, eggplant, and some onions. Pinos over in my son's window. Bathroom, I've got my tomatoes, and this is not even half of it. Look, Marky bought more seeds, and I still have these seeds I have to do, so I'm a busy woman, so I will do a weekly garden plant update, and I will give you guys some tips and stuff, so make sure you stay tuned, and until next time, I gotta get busy.